It was said in the Old Testament that before the coming of Jesus, Elijah would descend from heaven, sitting on the same fiery chariot on which he ascended to heaven. So he will return to earth sitting on the same chariot and announce to the world that the days of Jesus are nearby. Open up your hearts. Now the Jewish leaders took strong exception against Jesus by telling Jesus' views, by telling them, asking him if he believed in the scriptures or did he not. He said, yes, I believe in scriptures. He said, haven't you read about Elijah? He said, of course. This was the talk of the town. I don't refer to a single sentence from the Bible, but everybody knows this is what happened. Every time he was inquired about his being the Messiah who had to come after the descent of Elijah, he said yes. He never refused to believe in the scriptures, but he refused to believe in the literal interpretation of scriptures. So when inquired, where is that Elijah? Show us. He pointed figuratively at John the Baptist and said, he is the Elijah. Believe it or not. Now, do you believe in Jesus? In that answer?
Me?
Yes. But that Elijah was born here on earth. He did not physically return from somewhere in space. That Elijah who had gone, first of all, that Elijah who had gone back to heaven has never been heard of afterwards, either in his own name or in any other name. He's gone and disappeared. So we do not really know whether he did ascend or not. But the Elijah to whom Jesus referred has returned was John the Baptist. His name was not Elijah. His parents were different. He was born before the eyes of the people of the age, out of human parents. Before them, he never used a chariot at all. So the universe of religion or the world of religion is spiritual and not material. Prophecies should be understood metaphorically. If they are taken literally, the entire world of religion will go topsy-turvy. It will not mean anything. So this is the message of this Messiah. He said that if you believe in my descent, the Muslims believed that Jesus had ascended bodily, as I have just mentioned before. And he would descend again bodily. He said, if you believe in the literal meaning of ascent and descent, then prove it in the case of Elijah first. Was the first Jesus right when he refused to believe in ascent bodily, physically, literally, and also in his return in the same terms? Was he right or wrong? If you ask any mullah, they will have to admit he was right. So he was right then. This Messiah has to be right now. Because this is exactly what he's claiming. That literal understanding of scriptures will lead you to nowhere but to falsehood. Understand the spiritual messages which prophecies contain. So he also faced a situation very much like Jesus, where bodily ascent was debated, bodily descent was debated, but it had not occurred. Then again, when he claimed to be a Jesus, as I have already told you, he was refused and he was in fact mocked at, and he was even stoned many a time. Attempts at his life were made repeatedly. This was the price he had to pay for this claim. But as God did not abandon the previous Jesus, so he did not abandon him. If he were a madman, if he had concocted all it from himself, then his the treatment of him by God should have been different from that which was meted out to earlier Jesus. Despite his poverty, despite his having nothing of the worldly things, of material power, etc., he still went on spreading. He went on growing from strength to step further, higher strength, greater strength. And the enemy was armed with every material weapon. And he told his followers to abandon whatever weapons they had. Fight with naked hands, without anything. Fight with love. Fight with persuasion, was the message of earlier Jesus. This exactly was the message of this Jesus. And Ahmadiyyat, by its growth, has proved beyond a shadow of doubt that despite the fact that the worldly governments and the worldly people had entirely rejected him, he is growing at a much faster rate than Christianity ever spread. So these are a few answers which I have given to your question. But if you want to read further, to know more about these things, you can have access to my videos where all these answers are recorded at greater length. You can have access to our literature in which all these things will be found. So read the literature, listen to my cassettes or watch my videos, and I'm sure, inshallah, you'll be led to the truth. Thank you. Yes, please.
Hazur, next question is from Miss Seema Riazuddin. Can an imam lead the Friday prayer at two different places on the same day?
Not physically. I've answered.
Yes, thank you.
Not physically.
Hazur, the next question is from David Willer from Cheam. The question is, could you please enlarge generally upon the Buddhist prophecy about the coming of the Messiah, which phonetically is very close to the word Messiah? Is there a connection between the two, and do you think Buddha's prophecy has been fulfilled?
Yes. It has been fulfilled twice, not once. First of all, when he prophesied about Messiah, there was no sign of any Jesus Christ in the world of Buddhism. He was not even born. This prophecy was made around 500 or 550 years before the advent of Jesus. And he claimed that the new Buddha would be Messiah. And he also claimed that he would be a foreign Buddha. He would not belong to our people and our race. When Jesus Christ was attempted to be murdered by crucifixion, we believed that he was saved by Allah miraculously, in the sense that things happened which did not make him die upon cross. And God so managed that he was kept for 3 days and nights in a sepulchre where he did not lie as dead but as deeply wounded. The proof that he was still deeply wounded is found in the New Testament itself, where it is related that many potions were made, with many herbs included in those. And those potions were applied to his wounds. No man with an iota of sanity would apply potions to a dead man and his wounds. So that positively shows that those who were the first witnesses, his disciples, some of them, not all of them knew where he was buried, personally knew that Jesus was not dead, or such ointments would never have been prepared.